Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is episode 5 of Strange Realms, and today we're going to be doing some research for you guys and on the CIA and
It's giving you a good look into their history and operations that they've done, just their involvement in a lot of stuff that impacts people negatively.
they're not always the good guys.
They're definitely not good guys. They're not working for us at all.
Yeah, so I guess
They're basically their own little like government almost. Like,
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
they can pretty much do what they want.
They're
already clandestine in nature, so naturally they're going to be abusing that.
yeah.
At least some people in it are.
One of those organizations. It's inside organizations type of thing.
Well, yeah, that. I mean, I don't think that everybody in the CIA is like a bad person. I'm sure there's honest people that work for them, but I just feel like at the upper levels, it's definitely more. It's controlled and utilized for stuff that's not, related to like helping, the U.S. people, which is what it was created for, quote unquote.
Right. It's just pure espionage.
Yeah, it's not serving us though. That's my point.
Espionage on us.
Yeah, basically, we're involved in it for sure.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into the first one here. It's kind of just like nothing super crazy. I mean, it's crazy, but
it is crazy, but it's base level stuff. It's like stuff that people can relate to.
Right. Shit that would be in movies.
Yeah, for sure.
In all honesty,
well, I mean, it's in a couple documentaries, but they don't really like talk about Gary Webb, which was who we're talking about. He was a just I guess to get right into it. He apparently worked for them, and was basically implying, and he had proof for it, and he ended up getting killed with he got shot twice in the head with a .38 or something like that, and they said it was a suicide. Like, I don't understand. It'd be pretty hard to shoot yourself twice in the back of the head.
Right.
But he was basically saying that the U.S. was like bringing in cocaine in the 90s, and that like Arkansas, Bill Clinton and the director at that time of the CIA was George Bush Sr., George H. Bush, yeah. And
and he goes all the way back to ties to JFK and
oh yeah, all kinds of dude. He's
that whole.
The Bushes are a crime family, dude. Like 100%. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah,
they were definitely a crime family.
Quite obvious.
It was basically like the mafia, but they were big time.
And anytime they talk about,
and that's putting it lightly, in my opinion.
On Twitter, anytime I see them, like one of the big news outlets, if they post anything about Russia going to war and like us coming to defend Ukraine or whatever, I just post this fucking meme of Cheney.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Darth Cheney.
Yeah, but Gary Webb's that. It's pretty crazy. They ruined this guy's life, like completely
obliterated it, dude.
Blackballed him. Ruined his career, ruined his marriage. He couldn't get any kind of work after he started coming out with this stuff.
I mean, that was not all the stuff he talked about though. He was talking about how like he found evidence of like child trafficking and stuff, and that's what ruined his marriage.
I'm gonna screen share
him going in all that.
You guys can go and check out this website. I'm gonna screen share it and scroll through it, and you can kind of read along or go to it and check it out yourself. But it's some pretty crazy stuff. So let's see.
And he was from Kentucky, I think, like Louisville or something, which is crazy.
Right on, so you can see. Okay, cool. Here we go. Boom. So there's the website up there if you want to check it out. He goes into kind of some things that he found and kind of like expose the last thing that he ever wrote as a freelance journalist was exposing the military-industrial complex and how they have a strategy to that basically video games are a way to how do they put it? You know,
Indoctrinate you?
Indoctrinate
Or desensitize?
desensitize and indoctrinate you and
It's interactive
it's
propaganda.
A recruiting process basically, like for teenage boys specifically. And
I mean, if you really think about it, like I know I played Halo. I played a ton of Halo.
Yeah, it does reach a certain demographic where it's like if you grow up playing these types of games, then
I never really got into Call of Duty though, and I feel like that if anything was kind of like, hey, you know, shoot guns, fight for us, like
Activision is
and that's a whole
terrible
different
company.
thing.
I'd like to talk about some gaming.
I mean, we got
stuff
this
in
Blizzard,
the industry.
Activision,
It's
EA.
Yeah, EA's fucking terrible.
I mean,
too.
it's it's so many.
Yeah.
Bethesda even now.
But even not even just in the gaming, like the gaming industry in itself, like streaming and all that. It's just, it's just as rigged as anything else. Like, it's terrible. Yeah, I mean, there's videos on here of him, interviews and stuff, and I mean, it's just crazy that
the stuff he just talks about, though, man, and it's a lot of it was backed up, like he had evidence for it. And he was,
and the thing is
had
like
worked for them, and he was like an investigative journalist, so he really knew, like, how to find that stuff out. He had reliable sources.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's a pretty good whistleblower, and the fact I'm really, it's terrible that he got killed. I mean, like they say he killed himself, but I'm not wishing that on anybody. But it's kind of like the fact that happened. It's like, why else would they snuff him like that if he wasn't talking about stuff that was real? I mean, he's not the only one. There was that guy. What was his name, man? He was like a guy that flew for Escobar. Hold on, let me see.
Was it Escobar's guy? Is that White Boy Rick? I never really watched that movie.
No, it was. He was like a CIA pilot. He was like a former CIA agent or something. He's a pilot. I think he was like from Louisiana.
And the CIA is big into, we've talked about before, if you've watched any of our videos.
Barry Seal. That's what American Made is about.
And if you haven't ever watched any of our videos,
I'm telling you,
subscribe right now. Boom.
Yeah, please. It helps a lot. But yeah, Barry Seal, that's another guy that was literally involved in them smuggling cocaine and they did. I mean, they've been doing stuff in like Venezuela, Nicaragua, Guatemala, stuff like that, like running guns and this was the coke part of it was kind of like their way of financing that and like paying people. It was like a way to just make money, and they were getting funding from the government, us.
Yeah, it's kind of like you create a problem and then you come in and swoop in and, I'm the hero now. I'm going to fight the problem.
Well, I mean, it's that and it's, yeah, I don't know. I can't remember where I was going with that, but I had a thought and I lost it. But it's basically just like you do all this illegal stuff and make a ton of money from it, crime, whatever, and then you're creating this problem because you're basically starting and like building this crime and these criminal syndicates up. You're putting money into it. You're putting all this stuff, and so you create a criminal problem, and then the government's like, oh well, we got to put money towards this because it's a problem. So you get more funding that's known about, that they talk about in Congress and approve and all that stuff. But that's not taking it. Basically, what I'm saying is that's not taking into consideration all the illegal money that they're making on top of that.
Yeah,
It's just
crazy.
Yeah.
It's like a weird investment.
I mean, it's
You know what I mean?
like known and unknown investments. Yeah.
The more dangerous you can make this cartel seem or whatever this country seem like they're
Task force
hostile.
money,
Yeah, then you can get all the funding. And
departments, funding.
yeah.
That buys people houses because they're getting raises to they're getting a salary to do this, to work on this task force or department, whatever division. So yeah, that's all money that they're getting on top of the if you're really like in dirty and corrupt and you're making. I'm sure there's people who they're literally the part of these syndicates.
Right.
This also happened to be a CIA agent. But yeah, I mean that's just the Barry Seal stuff, the Gary Webb's, like him talking about how they did that. I mean, it's obvious that they were aiding, abetting, and like putting money and time, our money and time, into that. So,
I mean,
they basically were part of the drug problem,
and then you can pretty much credit them with the crack epidemic.
Well, that's what he was saying. That's what Gary Webb was talking about.
Yeah.
Was how they were turning it into crack cocaine. And Freeway Rick Ross, like there's that rapper Rick Ross, but this is the real one. Where he took his name from, who was basically like the kingpin of crack in the '90s. Like he was huge, and he sold it for the CIA, and that's what he was talking about. He was like that whole thing was like CIA fund, like that was an intentional thing. It wasn't just like these guys were just moving cocaine and turning it into crack and selling it. They were. It was intended. It was like on purpose.
No, right.
So yeah, and then he was. What was the last thing you said? Like the military industrial. Yeah, the
military. Yeah, he was talking about them using that for just recruitment and indoctrination.
Yeah,
getting little kids hyped up to shoot guns.
Social
and shit.
conditioning, man. Which I guess would be a good segue, and we've talked about it quite a few times, but. It's definitely worth talking about MK Ultra, which is another CIA.
Because that type of shit can still be happening, and
it is, man. Still be
today,
like it is, man. 100%. Like I would literally be willing to bet my next 15 paychecks that's still going on. Like I don't know. I've never been really sure about a lot of things, but that I am.
Capacity.
I mean. I don't know, dude. A lot of evidence for it, like here recently, but that's a different topic. Let's see.
What are you looking at now?
MK.
Okay, oh, yeah.
Getting that pulled up. Which is basically like we've talked about it a lot of times, but I feel like it's super important. Some people may think it beat the dead horse, but
know about it. It's important to know that it happened, but it's also super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I
just feel like really in warfare nowadays, man, it's not about. It's like we were talking about earlier. It's not about boots on the ground. Weapons and physical, like guns, like projectiles,
right.
Violent weapons.
I'm gonna throw this website here up on the screen. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Elite Daily, and this is just the craziest CIA operations, and I'll just scroll through and we can talk about MK Ultra and.
Okay. But yeah, as it relates to that, like. It's not the war is not going to be fought with like munitions and soldiers.
No, yeah, right.
It's all information and propaganda and just warping and like twisting and spinning everything. All the news, all the information, everything. So like even if like something's going to happen, you can't keep it contained. The best thing you can do is just throw tons of misinformation out there, and so you can't tell what's what.
Yeah, right. You just get people confused.
At the very least.
And then when people are confused is when they're like the most prone to like hostility, I guess.
Yeah, because they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is what MK Ultra is. Like, it's basically a mind control program.
And I'll, if I can remember, hopefully I remember, and I'll leave links to all these websites down in the description.
We'll have them
also.
in the description.
Yeah. So this just goes through and just talks about a bunch of crazy shit. I mean, yeah, Northwoods right there.
Yeah, Northwoods is nuts.
It's a good one. Mockingbird.
That's a pretty good base level one too.
Is,
it was coordinated by the Special Operations Division of the U.S. Army's Chemical Corps, or Corps. So they were definitely like trying to. I think it was initially for like. It had a bunch of legal stuff about it, but they were taking like unwitting U.S. and Canadian citizens as test subjects. Used methodology to manipulate people's mental states.
Do you think that
alter brain function
has something to do with abduction stories? Like alien abduction, you know what I mean? Like hardcore. Like we're really gonna get into this person's mind with MK Ultra, and they like. That's what they think an alien abduction is. Like some of them reported.
Maybe I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like,
but that would be like. That would take a lot of like. I mean, they did use LSD to like alter their state of mind, but that would be really hard to. I don't know, man. Maybe they could, but.
Right. It's like, what if you could like
fake it basically?
They can take you, like, you know what I'm saying, without drugging you, but then with the drugs they make you. Your memory is you being abducted by this fucking craft.
Or it just seems like you don't know what was going on. Yeah. Maybe I don't know.
So this says.
I know they did something like that before. There was some kind of thing I watched, and they were talking about like using like shock factor tactics and stuff like that on people. It had something to do with like something like that. It was kind of. It was interesting.
In the most daring of operations conducted by the CIA, the agency decided to conduct experiments of mind control to essentially create zombies to perform certain tasks. The test subjects were once again American citizens who were recruited and given LSD or amphetamines, electric shocks, and various forms of brainwashing. People were pretty much tortured and pushed to their limits, both physically and chemically. The results of Project MK Ultra were successful, although what that entails remains to be classified. It is also said that these acts are still being carried out today, however, on a much less hazardous scale.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think it's on a
bigger. You just think hazardous to
maybe a less dangerous or like a lower dose, but on a more massive.
It's probably more like it's way more funded and.
Well, you seen this thing about
refined, if that makes sense.
The blue light.
Yeah, the blue light.
Sam Tripoli talks about it all the time on Tim 4. A bunch of people are, blue light coming from your phone lenses and your computer screens.
That's some kind of like subliminal thing.
And it's also, if you're like into the chakras and all that stuff, your third eye is blue. So.
Yeah, it could have some significance. But I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be like some kind of like. It's almost like the concept of like white noise, know?
Yeah.
Where it's like. It's affecting you, but you don't realize that it's subliminal.
That would be something interesting too, because I know they do a study on like white noise and stuff.
I mean, but they've done stuff like that. Like they experiment. They're still probably messing with that stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's kind of like that voice of God technology that we were talking about that one day. It's like a satellite dish, and they can like project somebody's voice into your, like, it hits you and you can hear it. Like, it's like a ventriloquism, but like on a whole nother level.
Well, they've been talking
throwing
about
your voice
this,
basically.
Something that's more like a current topic, and it's not, I mean, I would assume not necessarily anything to do with the CIA, but the mass psychosis.
Yeah.
All that.
But that's the same premise. Like, it really is. It's the same premise. Cause it's literally like social conditioning and, mind control. I mean, that's got the same elements.
No, right. It's just not like a control like you would think.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's
the
very
onset
subtle.
is not like you would expect it to be.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just so subtle. God, man.
I mean, like with the internet and the way that you can spin information now and just like
Yeah.
put anything and any kind of twist on anything out there and do it at such a like fast rate, dude. It's
So yeah, but I mean,
let's see, what was another one? Cyclone.
Operation Cyclone.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna pull this one up.
Seems like it's good.
89 there after the CIA arm and finance.
It was basically them going over and supporting militant, like what they called terrorist groups. You know, like we
Yeah.
funded them.
Yeah.
There was a big thing about ISIS,
Push
like,
out.
and there's all kinds of. There's some stuff there that suggests that ISIS was us too. You know, I mean, we basically gave them the money, and
Yeah.
there's all people that we armed. A lot of it to fight, you know, in Iraq and all that other stuff against people we didn't like at the time.
Yeah.
And they ended up just turning into a giant, you know. And but it kind of seems like they kept getting funding. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like a one-time thing. Like they were still getting. It's like controlled opposition, the boogeyman that you make.
Yeah, right. So what is this on worldatlas.com?
Yeah. Go ahead and share it if you want.
I'm gonna pull that up too. Boom.
Yeah, show all of it.
Boom, yeah. Trying to expose these motherfuckers.
At least give people a better idea
Yeah, I mean,
of what they really are and how they really are.
yet again, it's not.
These aren't even my favorite. Gary Webb's a good one because it's relatable.
Yeah, right.
It's really ground level, like, you know, base level.
So I think whether they funding, you know, Afghanistan and these terrorist organizations to defeat Russia
Yeah.
when it was still.
I mean, we
So-
armed
you know, Soviet.
the Taliban.
Hell yeah.
What's his name? Bin Laden and all them to fight the Russians in the
We
80s.
sold them our guns left over from Vietnam.
Yeah. And then you got this mess over there now where we just left all that stuff in Afghanistan. Man,
Yeah, that shit right there, that's fucking.
that had to be some kind of, like, there's no way that wasn't planned. Like, you got to be kidding me. That many munitions. It was like, I was reading a statistic, dude, and it was like tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of assault rifles. It was like 6,000 fucking light machine guns, RPGs, helicopters, planes, night vision gear, tactical gear, grenades, pistols, all kinds of stuff.
It's crazy.
Biometric data. So, like, basically, any, like, they had, like, biometric, like, you know, thumbprints, eye scan, like, whatever, like, any kind of biometric data. They had all kinds of data on people in the army and maybe Syrian, I think they said, like, the people that were helping them over there. They were from different countries.
No.
They have data on them, and all that's in their possession now. They got info, like literally their biometric, all their info.
Alright.
If you were in there, they got all that.
Hmm.
So like they know where you live, who your family is, your
Jesus.
like, you know, your weight, your height, your blood, like all that stuff.
And they're just like, nothing to see here. Just, you know, don't pay attention.
Oh,
Don't talk
you know,
about that.
and nobody's even talking about that anymore.
Yeah, like, why are you bringing that up? That happened like 2 months ago. However long it's been, it happened longer than that. But
So much money, like that's literally, I can't imagine being a veteran and just going through all that bullshit.
I forgot, I seen something on Twitter the other day.
And just to have people be like, well, you know what, that whole 8-year, 12-year, whatever you spent over there
Man.
was complete horseshit, and we literally have just given all of our supplies and stuff that you pay for with your taxes at a crazy high rate too. A lot of your money goes into, just ends up there.
Yeah.
The
I
lives
seen,
affected by it and everything, man.
Yeah. So there's this college. I forgot which one it is. One of the fucking, you know, upper whatever, like super duper liberal colleges, and it's like I want one of the tests or something. I don't even know, but it was like give reasons why the Taliban isn't a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't argue against it. You have
They
to
have a fucking Twitter. They have a
Man, it's It's insane. It really is.
Oh, I didn't realize that's the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, how does the Taliban have a Twitter, dude? We can't get into that because I'll start ranting about stuff that'll get us flagged. But yeah, I guess get back to this. Like, this is just a good example of like them taking your money, putting it into terrorist organizations, super corrupt governments, and leaders and dictatorships and stuff like that, just to get money. It's all your tax money, man. It's all of our money.
Charity donations, you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's
all kinds of shit to go in with that too.
And there's layers of the laundering, and it's just this giant, like, mechanism.
It's a machine. I mean,
yeah.
It's really what it is.
It's built out the backs of you and me.
Yeah.
It's not giving us any kind of benefit, man. But yeah, so Cyclone is basically like, that was the premise. They pretty much armed a bunch of terrorists, and then played it off like they got the weapons from a different government or different organization and stuff, when it really was them.
Right. So I feel like there's like a theme forming. It's like they're problem creators and solvers.
Yeah,
but it's all just one giant cog.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Working with itself.
It's really big, and it's like hard for people to. The perspective is not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're looking at small pieces of it. You're not seeing the bigger picture. The cog, like you said, the whole wheel turning. It's hard to imagine it being that vast, but I mean, it really is. They got their hands in every pie across the world, dude. They're not a U.S. organization. They're a global organization. For real.
Definitely, yeah.
They're definitely not working for us. Let's see. We can go into Mockingbird. That's a good one. You want to talk about propaganda?
I got something about Mockingbird.
It basically indicates the CIA's involvement in the manipulation of the news published in the United States. Not only the United States, but across the world. And if you look at any of the news now, man, like, it's pretty apparent that it's getting twisted like a spring, dude. Like, it's bad. When you look up stuff about it, a lot of stuff that you'll find is like in the 1970s, when it was like exposed. It supposedly started in the 1950s, and went on from then all the way. Yeah, so since the 1950s, they've been recruiting journalists, editors, students, anybody that was involved in the media industry, and not only like that. I mean, just high level people. They literally had people in every single news outlet. Basically, if you were big enough and you were speaking to people, through the news and stuff like your news network, they had somebody in there. Like every major city, even I would say even some of the minor cities like Lexington, they had their people in there. And
for sure,
it literally just goes on about they had all these different, and it's all documented too. Like, it's not even hidden. They're not. They don't even deny that they did it. Like, they're like, oh yeah, it's a thing, but we're just not going to talk about it. But clearly,
I mean, even up to today, Facebook startup.
Yeah, I mean, it says journalists, like I said, editors, everything.
Amazon, I'm pretty sure they
made a $600 million deal with the CIA. Amazon. But we got to buy everything for some reason. Man, every time I look at Jeff Bezos,
I just want to know what you're spending your money on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, and I'm sure that's probably just like one aspect of it. Like, that's.
I'm almost convinced though that the fucking like ad corporations are who really run it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're the ones who are really like getting all this espionage on the fucking public done because they want to fucking just push ads in our face and sell us shit.
Yeah, I mean, I would say at like further up the food chain, so to speak, You're talking about those companies. I'm sure they're them and like these media companies. There's not a lot of difference. They're probably owned by similar people.
Right, I'm sure.
If I had to venture to guess, that's just me. I don't know. I don't trust any of it.
I mean, marketing.
I'm a little jaded, but
I don't know. Marketing's a very interesting thing.
Yeah,
very
for sure.
Psychological.
Yeah, but that's. I mean, it's not like just kind of going back to the MK stuff, but that MK and Mockingbird are basically just two like fingers of the same hand. You know what I'm saying? Like
No.
the thumb is Mockingbird, where they get everybody in there so they can, do the boots on the ground, basically. People in it, reporting and snitching and controlling and pushing narratives that they want pushed, that all that stuff. And then you've got MK Ultra, which is basically about like, mass psychosis and social conditioning and brainwash, but really subtle, like you don't know it's even happening stuff. And you mix those two together, and I'm sure there's other facets of it, like fingers, if you will.
No.
But they go hand in hand as far as like spreading propaganda and just controlling a population, like, and just spying on everybody, dude, and just making money at the same time. It's basically like the actual government. I mean, one part of the actual government. Shadow government, if you will.
This is a good one, too.
Banks are another big part of that. Military industrial.
Looking glass.
But I would say the CIA is like pretty far up there as far as involved.
No, yeah. And it's all like super compartmentalized.
Yeah, it's massively compartmentalized, dude.
It's insane.
There's all these stories about how people didn't know, like, they would be like undercover, and then didn't realize that 3 of the other people that they thought they were spying on were also like undercover.
Yeah, it's like the fucking that scene in The Office.
And just think about that, dude. So you have all these people doing jobs like that, all like millions, almost, and they're all getting paid salaries, paid somehow, compensated somehow. Where's that money coming from? It's not all funding.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like they're doing.
These motherfuckers just print money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, they are right now, dude. 7%
crazy.
inflation, people.
Crazy.
7% inflation. We're fine. Everything's fine. I don't know. I'm not trying to get all doom and gloomy, but that I just can't see how people are like, no, it's not happening.
It's definitely gonna get better.
Yeah, I feel like there's like a lot of light at the end of the tunnel.
No, definitely.
In regards to what's going on now.
People are starting to wake up, man. This motherfucker with his 33% approval rating.
I don't know, I definitely don't like Joe Biden.
And it's not even just him.
No, it's the whole thing. It's the last 10 presidents we've had, dude.
Fuck Trump. let's go Brandon. None of them. They're all fucking shady.
I just feel, it's just like it's just the back and forth all the time, man. It's like this party looks like it's, super like trustworthy because this one was so bad, and then it kind of shifts and goes back and forth and just keeps people playing back and forth with each other.
Yeah. And I don't know what the answer would be, to be quite honest. It certainly isn't fucking like socialism or communism.
Well, there's legislation. There's a thing right now where they're trying to make it to where they're trying to like introduce a law or legislation that would limit terms.
Yeah, and there's also shit where
I'm telling you, if you limited terms, dude, like that, it wouldn't stop it.
No, but
it would definitely put a dent in it.
I think there's 2 senators who are trying to block Congress members from being able to invest in stocks and shit.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
there's
talk about insider trading, dude. People get arrested for that on a daily basis.
People just don't understand the amount of wealth that was transferred in the last 2 years. And I know we're getting a little bit off topic, but holy shit, people need to know this. Like,
don't take our word for it, please. Like, research it and look into it yourself.
It's just all right. So I got Looking Glass pulled up here. Like,
we got way off topic.
Get on the soapbox for a minute. You know what I mean?
Use your brains. All I'm saying, dude.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for thinking.
Yeah.
So what is this?
But I mean, this kind of goes into what we were just talking about too. It gets harder and harder to like last time I digress, I promise. It's getting harder and harder to like cut through the bullshit.
Yeah.
People, it just, you really have to apply yourself more mentally to be able to do that. I feel like, and people just get lazy, dude.
And sometimes when it comes to like, especially politics, sometimes you just gotta block that shit out.
You don't even focus on it. Like, dude, like, I mean, it affects you. You should definitely know about it and know what's going on and what they're trying to do. I mean, we've had all kinds of stuff try to get slipped by, like the IRS thing where they're going to tax people above $600.
People get too tired.
Or not tight, but like keep track of everything you get above 600.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking.
I don't think it went through, but
no, I'm pretty sure they blocked it.
Yeah.
But people get so fucking emotionally tied up in politics.
Yeah, they turn all this stuff that's like used and created and enforced upon us as a population.
It's by design.
Well, yeah, it's for sure. But they take that stuff and they dress it up as a political side, a political stance on one party or the other. When it's really not. It's just it's two different. Both parties are like all the people who are corrupt in it and who are involved in all this bullshit. They're all on the same team for the most part, and
right.
They dress it up as this is a Republican thing or this is a Democratic thing. Like in reality, they're just dividing y'all and passing more stupid horseshit that just takes away more rights and gives them more power on a regular basis. Yeah. But y'all want to get super into it's the left or it's the right. Like it's all garbage.
And it's
when it comes to the political system.
Dress it up as it's going to help this group of people, but it's also going to hurt this group of people, and it's I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's misinformation. It's not just one. Like it's very multifaceted. No, it's like I said, it's just propaganda and like just social conditioning in mind. I'm telling you. They spend a lot of money on that stuff, man, and you think they're not going to use that information and try to apply it in any way that they can. You're sadly mistaken. I'm sorry.
They want us to be as
why would they spend all that money on it, dude?
Possible. It's
no, just for the hell of it. Yeah, okay.
Why are you researching it in the first place at all?
That's what I'm saying.
Why are you even researching it to begin with?
Yeah.
What is your purpose of it?
Some people would be like, well, it's to understand more about the human mind and stuff like that. Yeah, but not in the way you think.
But control, though? Mind control?
It's the intent on wanting to learn that stuff. Why you want to learn that stuff.
Yeah. The use of the knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk about Looking Glass. Sorry, folks.
Glass, February 3rd, 1961.
I think I have that up too.
Ensure that strategy of mutually assured destruction, Jesus, could never be interrupted. Oh, this is the one where they were planning the mission to blow the plane up?
No, that's Northwoods. We'll talk about that next.
Which one?
This was... It was kind of like a... hold on. I think Looking Glass was like... Yeah, well, so that maybe that's... I thought this was something different. This is like about... If there was like a nuclear war,
yeah, this is about nukes and shit.
This would you'd have all the government guys in the plane, directing the remaining infrastructure, if there was any type of so continuity.
It circled continuously over the United States over a secret flight path for 29 continuous years, and to this day is still ready to take flight.
Yeah.
So if there's ever a nuclear attack. And all of the U.S. command is destroyed, this airborne plane can call in.
Yeah.
Or drop a nuke, I guess.
Which kind of just shows that they know the shit could hit the fan. And they don't care. They're going to live. Type stuff.
Yeah. So crazy.
Which reminds me of how... I was watching this thing about how the Pentagon has like a zombie shelter, like a zombie bunker in the Pentagon.
Oh yeah,
I swear.
I'm sure they do.
What time are we on?
39 minutes.
All right, so let's get into
Cold War, man.
Because that's interesting, but that's not like a covert operation per se. Oh yeah, we can talk about Northwoods.
No Woods.
If you've ever seen the movie The Irishman, that kind of gives. It's talking about the same stuff, but from a different perspective, from a perspective from the mob, and that's not like, how he got killed and where they put his, like all that stuff was just made up for the movie, but because nobody knows what happened to Jimmy Hoffa, but well, we don't know, but there are definitely people that know what happened to him.
Yeah. There was something just come out recently. I'm pretty sure there's some
Maybe
guy in Chicago said he knew where the body was or some shit. I never really heard much else about it.
Yeah, but in the movie, and they do a good job because it's like people today, and they say this in the movie, like they don't know like how important, how big of a figure he really was back then. Because he controlled the truckers union, and that was like moving. That was the shipping industry, man, and you had that
it's
on
just
lockdown.
like today, man. Like
power.
People don't understand the power of the trucking and the transportation of the United States. Like if those motherfuckers,
Our entire
shut down,
civilization is literally built on it, dude.
Days it would. I mean,
cost every. I mean, it dictates all kinds of stuff.
We would last days without truck drivers.
But yeah, so and essentially he was part of he got tied up, super involved in the mob and the mafia, and the mafia had interest in Cuba, and basically wanted to get back in the casinos and all this, the docks and fishing, like all the different like illegal stuff they were doing in Cuba, basically, or shady stuff. I guess I wouldn't call all of it illegal because I mean gambling is people just want to gamble, but
right.
that was that. I mean, it's the same as Vegas, But
I feel like the gambling and it's just like part of
it's a cash business, yeah.
Human nature too, to want to like test your luck, kind of thing.
Yeah, but they wanted to get back in there, and they had like they basically helped him get elected in like Illinois or something, like Kennedy, and because his dad was like a bootlegger and he was friends with all those guys, and which I mean just goes to show you, man, like it's all intertwined and interlocked. It's a giant tangled web,
and then that all goes back into secret societies and shit.
Yeah,
which we did do a video on, so I'm gonna leave that somewhere in the description or at the end or something. So
yeah, please check that out
if you're interested in secret societies.
And that one is like the tip of the iceberg. We're just getting people acclimated, man, because it gets way weirder.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they had dirt on him and all this stuff, and they're like, basically, you're gonna get us into Cuba, and the CIA was like, yeah, because we can make money. There's all this different stuff. There's all these facets to it, and the CIA was like helping them. And Operation Northwoods was going out and committing what they call, I'll call it a bogus banner, or cause I can't, because false flag kind of. Yeah, well, I said it.
You said it. Ding, ding, ding.
But yeah, so that, I'm not going to say it again. Those two words, that's what it was. And they were going to fly a plane filled with like Cuban nationals over top of Orlando or Florida or something and blow it up in midair, like some kind of military, like some kind of attack on the U.S., so that that would pry us into action. To go into war. I'm not going to say it on this episode, but I mean, what does that remind you of with Bush Jr. and that whole situation? That's a whole different topic. People get mad and sensitive about that one. That'll be on the website for sure. It's definitely touchy, but got to talk about it, in my opinion. But
Tower 7.
Just look up Tower 7. There you go.
Just
look that up. DuckDuckGo. Don't use Google, please.
That along with DuckDuckGo, fuck DuckDuckGo too. It just uses a recycled Google.
Yeah, does it?
Yeah. There is really no other search engine. Bing. But I mean,
well, yeah.
Who's to say what it really is?
I feel like you do get more searches. Like I saw a thing about. It definitely gives you a wider array of stuff. Like if you search a sensitive topic, that definitely gets like.
I think DuckDuckGo is less.
Doesn't track.
It's less ad driven.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it.
It's not tracking your information nearly like they are
Yeah.
and selling it and all that stuff. I'm sure there's some facets of that, but it's, I don't know, it's a better alternative than Google, bro.
Yeah, I still use it
Yeah.
anyway.
Anyway, yeah, Tower 7, look it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's what they did. They were going to fly it over and get us into a war that we shouldn't have been in, just like the last 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than that.
Now we're in another war we shouldn't be in, which is psychological. And
I mean, then there's that Ukraine stuff, which is yet again just them inciting a war so that we can, pour money towards it, so the military-industrial complex all these people can just make more money.
Cheney's thirsty.
Yeah, bro.
His fucking bowl's empty.
Quit, parched.
God.
Mongoose was trying to overthrow Castro. They were like,
They went after him for.
They tried to assassinate him like 4 or 5 times. Midnight Climax. This is what I was talking about.
And a lot of this stuff too is to. I don't want to talk a whole lot about it or say too much about it, but a lot of it is to centralize the financial system.
Oh yeah.
In these countries, so that's what a lot of it was about. It's what a lot of it's still about today.
What are you talking about?
The banks.
Yeah, but what was done to consolidate it?
That's why we invade all these countries.
Oh yeah,
take them over
going
and shit.
after,
That's the reason. That's
going
the
after
real,
stuff that's not on the centralized banking system.
The real reason for it. We just got to find a reason to do it.
I mean, you really just follow the money, man. If you follow money, it tells you everything. It doesn't lie. Because that's the point of all this stuff that they're doing, is to make tons of money and control resources.
Yeah.
Well, that and the whole mental aspect of it that we've been talking about, that's a whole different facet. That's like ultimate lockdown. But
and there's like aliens and stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny too, because you think about it, man. They brought all that stuff up in the news and they just stopped talking about it.
It's getting a little bit more traction again, I guess.
It's like drip feeding it.
Yeah.
That's a whole different.
And then they got the whole of the research, UFO research facility.
They just made like a task force or something.
In the Pentagon, I think it's in the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Is where they're opening it. But it's just like, and then, Trump did the whole Space Force thing, which I knew people was going to laugh at him about, but.
Yeah, but I don't think he did that because he was trying to.
I've seen, I've seen some other stuff too. It's and I keep saying it, man. It's like they're gonna find a way to. If it ever happens, if there's ever disclosure, I feel like they're gonna make it hostile.
Yeah, they're trying to control narrative.
Yeah,
freak people out, dude. Fear always telling you.
Fear because fear is like an unrational reaction kind of thing. Like
you don't know what to expect. Something makes you uncomfortable.
To fear.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's easy for them to control a mass amount of people.
Right. Yeah.
Through that and brainwash, which is, we've been talking about that. We've been going in circles on that, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's super for.
You got to know that it's happening to you so you can fucking stop it.
Yeah, or at least be aware and not participate as little as possible in it, dude. Honestly. I guess to get a little back on topic. Yeah, it was Midnight Climax, but I talked about that in another episode where they would like set up those rooms with the two-way glass where they could see, and they would get like escorts to like give dudes drugs and LSD and all this different stuff to just see the effects first before they try to use it in MK Ultra and all that stuff. But let me see. There's all kinds of ones, but yeah, there's MK Ultra. That's like everybody knows about that one. We talked about that one a lot. We could talk about, I guess, lastly, their research and how they looked into remote viewing.
Yeah.
There's a 200. Please bring it up and share it so people know I'm not just making it up.
Where am I at? Is it this document?
Yes.
Boom.
It's a 200-page evaluation essay on remote viewings. And if you don't know what remote viewing is, it's If you ever watch Stranger Things, they did it at the very beginning where that guy was like reading off. He'd have like a deck of cards in another room, and like
Game of Thrones.
where they'd have you pull the card up and somebody could see what the card, like what was on the card from a different room, all the way across the facility.
What was Bran was what on there, a ward or something?
Yeah, you could see like you could. It's basically it's through a series of like it's like meditations involved. You get into a trance, and it's like not a trance maybe, but it's a discipline that you have to learn. You can't just like close your eyes and like start viewing.
Yeah. It's almost like fly on the wall.
Yeah, like you basically can view places, events, things, and distance. The better you get at a distance is no object. Like you can literally view whatever you want.
Yeah. I wonder if they've gotten into like time. Like, can you remote view through time?
Yeah, you can like past, present. That's what I'm saying.
Right. But I mean, like future. Like, is that
the way they explain it is that stuff's not separate. Like it kind of smashes the time thing. Like they're all coinciding at one time.
I mean, that's kind of my knowledgeable on anything like super duper crazy smart like time and shit, like, which is just a made up construct by us anyway. But like, for me, time
being
is
used as a control mechanism.
Time
in
is
some
a
ways.
book. You know, time is a book that you can flip through.
Yeah.
And everything exists at the same time. You're just not on
that particular
the page
yeah.
so to speak. So.
But yeah, it's basically just.
You can go through this
viewing different places.
Crazy long document. I'll just scroll through it and
let me look at the executive summary. Hold on.
Because remote viewing all by itself is a super interesting topic.
Here we go. So this is the executive summary in that first like this is the opening thing. Studies of paranormal phenomena have nearly always been associated with controversy. Despite the controversy, they're saying despite it, we're going to look into it. It would have tremendous potential utility for the intelligence community. Accordingly, a 3-component program involving basic research, operations, and foreign assessment has been in place for some time. Prior to transferring this program to a new sponsoring organization within the intelligence community, startups, Facebook, startups. A thorough program review was initiated, and so basically just going on how they've been looking into it. They had people who were good at it. They would ask them to do like, supposedly the Soviets had figured it out as well, and they were trying to keep up and catch up with them. And I really think it was all just, I don't think it was that this nation versus that nation. I feel like they were just sharing the information, and everybody was researching it all at once to get better, more results and more data.
Like on a deeper level, it's never this nation versus that nation.
No, that's what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying. Like it's not. They're all sharing notes, bro. For sure. But yeah, it just goes on and on about their. And it's on their web. You can literally go to the website and look it up.
206 pages. Boom.
Just search like an evaluation on remote viewing by the CIA.
This is CIA.gov on there, Freedom of Information Act.
But look at the propaganda, dude.
Oh, man, of course. And then, of course, that's the first thing is the JFK stuff that they released. I don't know if they're just drip feeding us or what.
That's drip feed, dude. They didn't talk all about all that.
Man, it's all fucking...
And there's crazier theories as to why he got shot. Some people was saying that he was going to, like, open his mouth about, UFOs and aliens. And
that's
blow open that basket, but...
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, he was telling her about it. He was blabbing
spilling his guts to her, and she was threatening to spill hers, I'm guessing. And
yeah. I mean, all about all that stuff. And
I mean, I'm pretty sure all this is still, speculation as far as I know.
Yeah.
So.
How much time we got?
We're at 55. We can kind of start wrapping it up.
Yeah, we can. I guess so. I don't know.
Remote viewing. We might do a.
We definitely need to do an episode on remote viewing, dude.
Remote viewing, and start getting into some like spirituality type of stuff.
Yeah.
Talking about just, I don't know, spirituality in general is a super, expansive topic.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I guess we're gonna
Basically, just I guess to wrap it up, like just use your brains, man, and just be aware that this stuff is going on. Look into it yourself.
yeah.
Don't just listen to us.
Don't just listen to other people.
Yeah, like please do not take our word for it. Please look into it.
Especially if you're into it, it's all super interesting.
Just gives you
to read and
yeah.
you know the information.
Well, the remote viewing thing, look, it goes into like metaphysics and all this other stuff. You know, like
yeah.
just how the world and reality really works. It's really, really interesting stuff, man. Mind blowing, some of it.
It's a super crazy place. So yeah, so if you guys made it this far, thank you for
You can take
watching,
that screen down real
tuning
quick.
in. Yeah. Let's see. Stop sharing. Boom. Hey.
But yeah,
So, thank you guys.
for sure.
Yeah, I think we got 2 videos to drop now. So
Yeah, we got this one, and then the previous one we were talking about mythology and history and how people write history, and again more mental games, dude. Mind warfare.
Yeah, that stuff is super crazy. I haven't. It's after I found out all that and started reading into all that stuff that it's hard to believe anything, to be quite honest.
Yeah, don't trust nothing. Honestly.
Yeah, so
be good to each other, but don't trust anything.
Most definitely. You guys take it easy. Don't forget, drop a like, subscribe.
Thanks for watching, for real.
Yeah. Tune in next time.
Peace.
You guys take it easy.